My name is Mr. Emmanuel Charles, a teacher of linguistics and literature from Edukea Tanzania. My dear students, welcome in the session. Today I want to teach you about the literary devices. Literary devices in literature is very important because it are the tools which are used to appreciate or to interpret the works of words or the literary works. So here, my dear students, when we are talking about the literary works, we are talking about the oral works of literature, that is novel, poetry, play, and short stories. So today, in literary devices, we shall see the different styles and the different figurative language that is applied in literature, so that now to show the beautiful or the beauties of literary works. So here, when we are talking about literary device, there are different literary devices as mentioned here. There are so many, but today let us see the followings. Here we have imagery, symbolism, metaphor, simile, personification, euphemism, metonyms, irony, sarcasm, tautology, rhetorical question, satire, apotheosis, barbarism, onomatopoeia, overstatements or hyperbole, understatements, flashback, foreshadow, allusion, and archaism. So when we are talking about the literary devices, we are talking about the different techniques that are used in literature. There is imagery, that means the use of image. When we are talking about imagery, this means the use of figurative language to create the mental picture to the reader. That is imagery. The image, when we are talking about imagery, it is a figurative language. That when you are reading the text, after looking at words that implies it is imagery, it creates the mental picture or the sense organs, sense, that is what is we call the imagery. Example, in the text that is Betrayal in the City, by using that text, you can infer in the text whereby Gaspar Wendo used the gun to kill one of the characters. As he shot, he imitated the sound that the gun was providing, the sound tu. So the sound that was produced tu, so that now you can create the mental picture. What kind of sound was produced in terms of tu. So in that text there is imagery, whereby now Gaspar Wendo used to kill Mliri in that text, whereby now the gun was used as the symbolism to symbolize death. The gun used for killing. So as it used for killing, now it is symbolized that there is the existence of death. So here now the imagery. Now it is one of the figurative language that is being applied in literature. So to show the beautiful of language, because the use of figurative language in literature is what now make the work of arts to differ from other literary works. Apart from that, we have symbolism. Symbolism, now this is the use of symbols or the use of signs. As we are talking about the use of symbol, this is the figure of speech where a sign or something stands to represent something. Example, blood stands for sacrifice. A ring, maybe a ring stands for marriage. So when we are talking now about symbolism, that is stands for using symbol and a sign to represent something. Example, in that text, or example in the text that is the novel titled The Beautiful One Are Not Yet Born by Edukea in Ghana. Chifunanga is the symbolic representation of poor leadership. Odiri is the symbolic representation of people who other people trust him according to what he is doing. He sacrificed his life to fight with Chifunanga, so that now even he can throw with Chifunanga from the government or from the system, so that now the system could change from the poor system of leadership to the good leadership of leadership. So now here, as using the symbolism now, it is a science or the representation of something that is stands for. So Chifunanga is used in the text, in that novel now, in that novel, example, The Man of the People, to show that in that novel, A Man of the People, that now Chifunanga is the leader who is corrupt and is the leader who is misuse of power, is the leader who is selfish. So through that now, that is what we call symbolism. So the author used the Chifunanga in the book A Man of the People by Ngonge wa Thiong'o, so that now to show that there are leaders who are corrupt in the community. So through Chifunanga and the other leaders, so there is also Maxwell Kuramo. They have been used to show that how people are being betrayed. So that is symbolized even betrayal, because Chifunanga now uses misuse. He applied the misuse of public funds for his benefits instead of state affair. So that is all about symbolism. Now that is what we call a metaphor. When we are talking about metaphor, we are talking about another figurative language, of which now this figurative language is one of the features or figure of speech which implies direct comparison between two dissimilar things without conjunctions. Example, in the book Betraying the City, now metaphor is applied. Example, in the book Kumsun, in that book, Mlili was called that he is a woman. Mlili, you are a woman. So why now Mlili, you are a woman? That means there is no conjunction. So the figure of speech that used without providing or without using conjunctions, that is what we call the metaphor. So here there is no, you can use as black as butte, as black as charcoal. So that comparison, that is what we call a metaphor. Here also there is simile, that is point number 4. Simile, this is the opposite of the metaphor. Simile, this involves the application of comparisons through using conjunctions. Example, you can say you are black as a charcoal, or you can say he is beautiful like an angel, she is beautiful like American woman, she is beautiful like an angel also. So here, this is the figure of speech which is used to compare two different objects by using conjunctions. Example, she is beautiful like an angel. So simile and the metaphor, they are relating to each other, but metaphor does not involve the use of conjunctions. Simile involve the use of conjunctions. So That is what it implies. So here, now, after looking at point number 4, let us see point number 5. Point number 5, that is personification. When we are talking about personification, now we are talking about the figurative language that is used to show now a non-human being is given the quality or is given the features of the human being. Here there is the personification. This is a figure of speech that gives object, animal, idea or things ability to do like a human being. Example, you can say a stone is dancing music, a lion is playing football, the crowd is producing or is speaking about the coming of the heavy rainfall. So if the crowd is talking about the coming of the heavy rainfall now, that is what we call personification. So you give an inanimate animal the features or the quality of the human being. That is what we call the personification. So also after talking personification, there is the euphemism. When we are talking about euphemism, we are talking about the use of language to reduce or to hide something that is directly. Example, instead of saying I'm going to the toilet, you can say I'm going to the short call. That is what we call euphemism. So figurative language is being used because it has multiple meanings. So due to the multiple meaning now, it is favorable because it favors the application of language in a particular area. So here now, after looking, that is euphemism. Yes, my dear students, now we continue with that figurative language or language devices. So now let us see metaphor after looking at euphemism. We have explaining about euphemism. Now let us see metonyms. So metonyms, this is the substitution of a word with another word. A word with another word that is close related to each other. Example, crown, king, queen, state house, or president. So when we are talking about the metonyms, this figurative language that is used to show that there is a relationship or there is the words that are relating to each other. Example, the use of state house. The state house, it is related with the power or the president or the crown. We can say the crown. The crown, you can say, is correlating with the king or queen. So crown, it depends. It can be a king or queen, or it involves in the family of the kingship. So when we are talking about the figurative language, language that are used to show that the language is used is not direct. It is the literal language because it need much thinking so that now it can be able to be interpreted. So after looking metonyms, let us see now the word iron. This iron, this is iron is the figure of speech that tell opposite of what meant to be explained. Example, the blade is soft as a stone. A man of the people, where is an enemy? Example, by comparing a novel that is a man of the people by Ngongi wa Thiong'o, the novel is presented in Nigeria, whereby now that novel is being presented to show that there is no the reality that is explained in that text. And the title, A Man of the People, it is not directly the real meaning, but it is the opposite of the reality. It is not a man of the people, but it is an enemy of the people. So here we have used this iron to show that the iron is a figurative language that is used to explain the difference, the difference or the opposite of the reality. Example, you can call your friends or your friends, you are my enemy. Oh, my brother, I love you so much. While that person whom you are calling you are calling your brother or your friends is your enemy, but you hide that situation of being your enemy and then you call him your friend. So that situation of calling your enemy is your friend, that is what we call the iron. Or we could say another example that the bread is soft as a stone. In the real sense, we know that the stone is an unhuman, is an object that is very solid. So that object is very heavy, it is not soft. But here, this iron tries to compare the bread is soft as a stone, while it is not true that the stone is not like the bread. So that is what it means. So here, now the meaning of iron, it is what it is like as the way we have see here, a man of the people, while the real things is an enemy of the people. It's not a man of the people. So after looking now iron, let us see now sarcasm. Sarcasm, this is the statement given for the purpose of hurting or humiliating someone to make him or her unhappy. So when you are talking about sarcasm, this is the situation of humiliating somebody, or the situation of using insert words to a person so that to make him unhappy or to make him sad or to feel bad. Example, you can call in such a way, you can call, how woman are you? You can't get even a man to marry you. How rich can you like you, but you don't have even a single child. So here, this is sarcasm. This is a statement given for the purpose of hurting or humiliating someone to make him or her unhappy. Example, no one can marry such kind of a person like you. So these statements, if we will be directly to a certain person, automatically this will make her to be unhappy. So through using this statement now, that is what we call sarcasm. So this is an example, because through learning this figurative language without providing example, it is too difficult to understand what kind of figurative language is. So that is through using this, one can marry such kind of a person like you. So this is what you can now you can understand a kind of figurative language. Then let us see now, after looking at sarcasm, let us see now what we call tautology. Tautology, that is another figurative language. This is the representation of the whole word. Example, my God, they do. So tautology now, this is a repetition of the whole words in a particular statement, or is the repetition of a particular whole words in a particular conversation. So through using now repeating words, but it can be a sentence or a phrase. So through using that terms in case of frequency or in a whole repetition in a certain conversation, that is what we call tautology. So here now tautology can be used is being applied in literature, so that to show the implied meaning. So tautology is the repetition of the whole word. Example, my God, they do. That is all about tautology. Sometimes you can say it is a repetition. Also, after looking now tautology, let us see rhetorical questions. Rhetorical questions, these are questions which always are being asked while the one who is asking the questions, he is aware with the answers of that questions. In the figure of speech whereby a person asks a question while he or she knows it is answer. Are you John? Example, are you John? So here, now rhetorical questions. A person has asked John, his name is called John, while he know that that person is John. So through you asking these questions, now in literature, that is what we call rhetorical questions. If you ask somebody or you ask something, that is example you can ask, this is the mark pen, where you know it is a mark pen. So through using that terms, or through applying that kinds of asking this kind of questions, that is what you call the rhetorical questions. And then after looking now rhetorical questions, let us see something that is called satire. When we are talking about satire, that is the figure of speech which is used to criticize a person where there is the humorous to show their fault to the weakness. Satire, that is the figurative language that is used to show how the person has the weakness, or to make people to laugh for someone. So through using that situation now of asking questions that make people to laugh, so that is what it means about the satire. So my dear students, today now we have done with this session, but before we wind up, I would like to give these questions. The questions state that explain the terms barbarism, understatements, rhetorics, and sarcasm. So you are responsible to do these questions for your own time. So thank you very much for listening. We shall meet for the next session.